I came back on a Tuesday, the kind of day that doesn't feel like it should matter. My body was still running on soul time. The house smelled wrong. Not bad, just rearranged. Lemon cleaner instead of the pine oil I used. Shoes missing from the rack. An echo where the bench used to be. I set my bag down carefully, like noise might provoke something. From the porch I heard laughter. Bright, loose. Not surprised by me yet. I stood there longer than I needed to, letting the sound finish its shape. I thought of conference rooms with glass walls, the way silence worked there, how the longest pause usually belonged to the person with the most leverage. I had learned to wait, learned that interruption was optional. When I stepped outside, they were both there. My wife on the porch swing, one leg tucked under her like she was younger than she was. Her son leaned against the railing, phone in hand, laughing at something she'd just said. The house, my house, sat behind them, stripped a little bare, like it had already decided I wasn't staying. She saw me and laughed harder. "Oh," she said, waving a hand like I'd walked into a punchline. "You're homeless now." She said it lightly, as if it were a nickname, as if she were proud of how quickly she'd delivered it. Her son looked at me with a grin that wasn't brave enough to hold. He didn't know me well. He knew what she told him. That I worked too much, that I sent money away, that I was temporary. That I didn't notice things. I smiled. Not because I felt generous. Because my body had already decided this was not a moment for speed. "What's so funny?" I asked. My voice surprised me. Calm. Even. The way I'd learned to speak when translators were involved. Clear enough to survive repetition. The porch swing slowed. Not stopped. Just enough. She rolled her eyes. "Don't do that. Don't pretend you don't know." "I don't," I said. "So tell me." There it was, the first hesitation. Not guilt. Calculation. She had always been good at choosing words when it mattered. She just misjudged when this mattered. "I sold the house," she said. "I paid off his debts. You were gone. Someone had to handle things." The word handle hung there, polished and empty. I nodded once. Let it register. I looked at the front door, at the new lock, at the absence of my mail slot. "When?" I asked. "Last week." "And the closing?" I said. "Who signed?" Her son shifted. The swing finally stopped. "You," she said too quickly. "Your name was on everything. You're my husband." I took my phone out of my pocket. Not dramatically, just because it was already there. "The house you sold," I said, "was actually placed into a restricted holding structure when I transferred to the Korean branch." She laughed again, but it broke in the middle. "What are you talking about?" "I'm talking about the part you didn't ask about," I said. "The reason my salary changed. The reason the bank statements stopped coming to the house." I could see it now, the recalculation, the math happening behind her eyes. The son looked between us, already disengaging. He'd gotten what he needed. He'd never planned to stay for the accounting. I tapped the screen and called a number I hadn't used outside business hours before. When the line connected, I put it on speaker. A woman answered. Her voice was neutral in the way that meant she was used to being believed. "I need confirmation," I said, "regarding the unauthorized sale." There was a pause, not for drama, but for retrieval. "Yes," the woman said. "The property is not legally transferable without dual authorization. The sale is invalid. Escrow has been frozen. Notices are being issued." My wife stared at the phone as if it had spoken out of turn. "There may be further review," the voice continued, "given the attempted misrepresentation." I ended the call. No one spoke. The quiet wasn't triumphant. It was administrative. Her son cleared his throat. "Mom, Go inside," she said. "Sharp now." He did. She stood up from the swing. For the first time, she looked unsure of the ground. "You did this on purpose," she said. "No," I said. "I did this for work." She laughed again once. It didn't land. "So what?" she said. "You win." I thought about the word. How often it got used to excuse things no one wanted to explain. "I don't think this is that kind of moment," I said. She looked at me like she wanted to argue. but there was nowhere to place it. No villain speech to lean on. Just consequences arriving on schedule. I picked up my bag. "I'll be staying elsewhere," I said. "Not because I have to, because I want to." She nodded. Not agreement. Recognition. That night, I checked into a quiet hotel near the airport. I slept without dreaming. In the morning, I watched planes lift into a sky that didn't care who owned what. I didn't take the house back the way she expected. I let the process do its work. Papers moved. Conversations happened without me. Control became something I didn't have to perform. Weeks later, I stood in the empty living room one last time. Not to reclaim it. To acknowledge it had taught me something I hadn't known I was learning. I had been underestimated. I had survived that. And somewhere along the way, survival had turned into something steadier. Not victory, just ground that held when I stood on it.